the thing I'm getting out of this, Roach took the fight. It gives him a chance to really be that guy. Because Roach put in a lot of work, and he's a champion, What's the best for him? I'm hoping that he do what I do to do. You get what I'm saying? You see how I ask him, are you ready? You know what I'm saying? Because I need somebody that's going to really push things. So I can see different levels of it. This time I had a chance.
Even though Gervonta Davis is one of the most feared knockout artists in boxing right now, his career is falling apart behind the scenes. This new bombshell is proof of that, especially after his fight with Roach. As of today, Calvin Ford, Tank's trainer who has been there for him since the beginning, has quit. This is no longer just a rumor. Calvin himself has proven it.
Something is definitely going on between Calvin Ford and Gervonta Davis. Now, we all seen that knockdown in the 9th round, but what you probably didn't see is what happened after that in between rounds. Check this out. Coach Barry Hunter trained Tank for this fight with Roach, not Calvin Ford. A lot of people were saying that this performance had something to do with that. So, is something really going on between Calvin Ford and Tank Davis? Check out what Tank had to say.
No, I wasn't really paying attention to the crowd. You know what I mean? I was more so... It's something we gotta work on in the corner, for sure.
News on the street is that Ford has flat out refused to train Gervonta after his recent string of problems. Sources say this is one of Tank's most explosive arguments ever. But why did it happen? What did it finally take? What does this mean for Tank's future? Anything else? To be honest, this could be the start of the end for Gervonta Davis. Let's break it all down. Anyone who knows anything about boxing knows that a fighter's trainer is more than just a coach. They're like a father figure or guide who can push you to your limits and still believe in you when everyone else doesn't. That was Calvin Ford for Tank.
At DC, they call me Mo. Calvin is Calvin. You know what I mean? I got Calvin telling on me. Calvin ain't going nowhere. I don't even know Calvin for CCO. I know Calvin, you know what I mean? I don't know. Calvin's pop. He ain't going nowhere. I got that nigga tatted on me. This shit, hey, royalty over everything. Bro?
This wasn't some random trainer-fighter connection. Tank was a troubled kid from Baltimore, and Calvin took him in. He turned him into a world winner and was there for him through every scandal, setback, and trouble.
Hey, he was talking shit. Okay, I like that. Do that again. Get out that corner though, young man. Calvin trying to walk his ass
What you say, y'all? You said man down? I said we have a hand down. Hand down? Yes. I said hand down. No, hand down.
So for Calvin to just walk away now, that means something big went down. And trust me, it did. Because according to inside sources, this wasn't just a falling out, it was a war.
Let me explain something to you. Tank don't look at me as coach, you look at me as dad. Do it look like his son supposed to be taking your dad? I don't even feel right. Y'all hear this time? Tank don't pay as coach. Tank gives me anything I want.
Right.
But I'm a man at the end of the day. And I'm a hustler.
Right.
Second and foremost, I came from that club. You understand? He watched me lose my house, my wife, my family. He watched me do it. It's bigger than boxing.
Right.
Boxing is just a web.
Leading up to this split, things between Tank and Calvin had been tense for months.
Gervonta Tank Davis just been released to the public. We know now, December 14th, Houston, Texas, he's going to be facing a very tough opponent in Roach. Can you tell us a little bit about the history between them two?
Oh man, they've been knowing each other from the amateurs, silver gloves, everything. They grew up actually together, you know. Roach and him back and forth battles and whatnot. It's gonna be a pretty interesting fight, you know what I'm saying? Because Roach he come to fight. And I think it's a great fight. Everybody talking all that stuff about why Roach, because he signed and took the fight, you know what I'm saying? And it's good for the community.
Ever since Tank's fight with Lamont Roach, where he barely escaped with a controversial draw, Calvin hasn't been happy. And let's be real, he had every right to be. That fight was a disaster for Tank's image. He was supposed to go in there and remind the world why he's the face of boxing. Instead, he looked flat, unfocused, and totally out of sync.
You know, Calvin, he been with me since I was 7. I used to sleep in Coach Calvin's house. I used to sleep at his job when we were working at a seafood restaurant in Baltimore.
When I had to train Tank, when I didn't want him to get in trouble and I wanted to make sure we was together, I used to take him to work with me. And he'd chill. Everybody know him. Everybody know him at work.
Ford's message appeared to imply that there was more to the problem than meets the eye. While Davis's decision to proceed without him may have made Ford feel misunderstood, it was evident that he was choosing to focus on his personal progress and strength. His enigmatic statements conveyed a feeling of fortitude, as if he were prepared to face whatever obstacles lied ahead, even if it meant moving on from his former student. Davis found the timing of his departure from Ford particularly curious.
Calvin didn't hold back his thoughts either. He straight up said Tank forgot how to box. No excuses, no sugarcoating, just facts. That's when things started spinning. Tank, instead of taking accountability, started blaming everyone but himself, the judges, the ref, the bad camp, even saying he was sick during the fight. And Calvin wasn't having it. That the breaking point came when Tank got caught smoking during camp. We all know Tank has had problems outside the ring, legal troubles, reckless behavior, beef with other fighters. His name stays in the news for all the wrong reasons. But for Calvin, the one thing that was always non-negotiable was discipline. And when he found out Tank was smoking during training camp, that was it. Sources say Calvin confronted Tank about it, told him he was throwing away his own future, and told him that this wasn't the same focused kid he trained years ago. But instead of listening, Tank snapped.
Do it. Some guys don't understand. They do that on the club level fight. Opponents, they say, yo, I don't want to get knocked out by this guy, so I'm coming heavy. They gonna need the fight because they gotta take the fight because they gotta get the numbers. That's what they do on the lower end. But now they flipping the strip and doing it on the high end. You know what I'm saying? So that practice, you will start seeing that a lot now. But how we doing it now?
What started as a heated argument exploded into a full-blown screaming match. Tank allegedly told Calvin he didn't need him, that he could train himself, and that Calvin was holding him back. And that's when Calvin made the decision he was done. I can't train him anymore. That's what he told close friends after walking out of Tank's camp for good. And let's be real, this is bad news for Tank. Tank might be undefeated on paper, but let's not act like he's invincible. The only reason he hasn't taken a loss yet is because of his knockout power. But if you take that away, what's really left? Cars, Judge, Ensign Eric Merlinski gets about 115 to 113 in favor of Gervonta Davis. Judges, Steve Rice and Glenn Loud. Men both scored about 114 to 114. Even a draw. The ruling is a majority draw, and Lamont Roach already exposed the blueprint. I thought McKenna was doing well. I don't know. He took Tank's punches better than anyone before him. He landed the harder shots, and if the ref hadn't botched that clear knockdown in the 9th round, Roach would have won that fight clearly in there. Man, I thought I won. I thought I did enough to get the win over a spectacular fighter. I told y'all from the beginning, man, that I got the skills to pay the bills. I've been telling y'all that, and I'm just glad I got to show it. Honestly, I'm glad I got to show it. I appreciate, like I said before, I appreciate true boxing media. Some guys that didn't count me out, so that's just how I feel. Man, I think I won, and you know, I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to dance again. And here's where things get even worse. The fight is currently under review. The Boxing Commission is looking at that no call, and if they decide to overturn it, Tank will be given his first career loss. Burn, did you get your hair down 2 days before the fight? I ran water over it today, but I must say it enough. Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring, and was it to get the towel out of, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning, and you know, like you can get knocked out like that, so I rather take the knee than, you know, but I already know that you can like get the Spotify for all that. Or like when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know, it's cool. Now imagine all of this happening while he's also lost the only trainer who knows how to bring the best out of him. I don't want to say that's the blueprint. I just think that, you know, that my plan unfolded the right way, and if you think other fighters aren't watching this downfall and celebrating, oh, they definitely are. Shocker. Stevenson straight up said that Tank has been getting away with weak competition for years, and that his fall off is long coming. You think it was a draw? No, you're talking about how many rounds? I don't know. You still want Davis to fight? You still want the T. Davis fight? What would Raw take out of the Steve fighter out of me? Or is it still the same? I mean, we're going to see. I'm the best fighter in fighting. I bet they said this. So Shocker, what would be wrong with Gervonta taking this fight? Just because we could say maybe because Lamont didn't come in. Really? I think he got overconfident. I think he was, thinking Lamont wasn't that good. I told everybody how the fight was going to go. The fight went exactly how I said it would. Exactly. After seeing this performance from Gervonta, do you think your confidence has gotten a little bit higher? My confidence has been up. I've known I was the best. What's your worst title? Ryan Garcia, the guy Tank knocked out, is now calling him a fraud, saying that Tank has no real fighting skills, only power. When you're going to put it out, you're going to get in the ring, and you're going to have that moment where you know you've got to step it up, and it just won't come. I think that's what happened. And then there's Terence Crawford, one of the best fighters of this age, and guess what? He said Tank's time is up, and honestly, they might be right. Here's the thing. Tank is still a generational ability. He still has crazy power, insane speed, and the ability to put anyone to sleep, but boxing is more than just skill. It's about discipline, mental strength, and the right team, and right now, Tank has none of that. I'm not sure. Bro, I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we can get it before. I know it probably won't be this year. Is that the one you want next? That's the one I definitely want next, but it's not going to be next. We might see it in a minute. He's burned his bridges with Floyd Mayweather. He's lost the man who built his career, and he's about to step into the most dangerous rematch of his life with no stability in his team. Another thing I want to touch on is the floor problem. You know, Floyd is Floyd. That's like I say Tank is Tank Man, but at the end of the day, you know, the man is chasing greatness, and you should be supporting that. And I always tell you that you should be supporting that. You know, it's a rocky road that we see what's going on. Just pay attention, man. The story is going to be build itself, you know, but again, that's how you burn bridges. As somebody said, let's say the true colors of a person that's coming out, man, they can't stand it, you know. Calm is, I know I like using that word, you know, but our Lord knows he knows. And let's be honest, if Lamont Roach beat Tank once, what's stopping him from doing it again? Especially now Calvin for walking away isn't just another coach leaving his fighter. This is a warning sign. The cracks in Tank's career are getting bigger and bigger, and if he doesn't fix things fast, he might not just lose a rematch with Roach, he might lose his entire legacy. But the real question is, does he even care anymore? Because from the way he's been acting, it looks like Gervonta Davis is already checked out, and if that's the case, this could be the beginning of the end. Plus, Tank Davis has been teasing retirement for years. Nah, it's not just something new. This has been an ongoing pattern before his training camp For Lamont Roach, he flat out said 2025 would be his last year in the sport. He hinted at it during face-offs, interviews, and even social media. But now, after barely escaping with a controversial draw, his career is more uncertain than ever. The cracks are showing, and even the people closest to him are starting to question how much longer he can keep this up. Calvin Ford isn't blind to what's happening. He's been riding for Tank for years, pushing him to be the best, but he's also been frustrated. Why keep pouring everything into a fighter who might just walk away tomorrow? Are you retiring trash? What change? We made this trash garbage. If you got that opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be I'm out of it. Gervonta, something should have happened during this time, because when I saw at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like a talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing threats you like since you were a kid and everything? Where's the Calvin Ford? Is a Calvin Ford and or Leonard usually they're around? Do you love for it? Do you never know, like say you guys, Tank's head isn't in the game like it used to be. He's not training with the same fire, not performing with the same energy, and Ford can see it. And it's not just Ford. Clarissa Shields is saying the same thing. She straight up said Tank needs therapy before stepping into the ring again. I don't know if it's just cause I'm getting older now or what, but I feel like Gervonta is a hell of a fighter, but he needs to get his mental together. When I hear some of his interviews and I see some of the stuff that he's saying, I can just tell that he's not in love with the sport no more. I can tell that he didn't get his just due. It was crazy to hear that he said he got evicted out of a house or something like that. That's a huge statement coming from another fighter. But let's be real, she's not wrong. The way Tank's been moving, the lack of discipline, the public meltdowns, it all screams of a man who's losing his grip, not just on boxing but on himself. If he's not careful, this rematch could be the fight that forces him into retirement, whether he wants to or not. I think he would be better and even a better fighter if he went and did therapy ASAP, cause I can just tell like he's a little sad, he's a little depressed even before this fight. This isn't just a small argument, this is years of frustration boiling over. Calvin Ford has been in Tank's corner since day one, shaping him into the fighter he is today. But now he's done. He's tired of dealing with a fighter who isn't listening, isn't fully committed, and might not even want to be here anymore. And let's be real, this could be the final straw for Gervonta Davis. His career has already been hanging by a thread, and losing Ford might just snap it totally. So what's next? Does Tank finally pull it together and show to everyone that he still belongs at the top? Or is this the beginning of the end for one of boxing's biggest stars? Let me know in the comments if Tank finished without Calvin Ford. And if you made it this far, don't forget to like, follow, and hit that notification bell. I'll catch you in the next film.